last episode of this channel, we've been discussing the importance of having an educated populace in order to have a functioning democracy, and that this can only be achieved through education. So in the spirit of that endeavor, I thought it would make sense to recommend some books, and very quickly summarize why this or that particular book made the list. Now you might have noticed that I've named this video the Top 10, but I'm not actually going to mention these books in any particular order of importance. I just used the top 10 thingy to try and have more views. I mean really, 10 seems to be a psychologically satisfying number for many, so sorry about that. Anyway, here we go. The Bible. To learn that it's easier to be told by others what to think and what to believe, rather than it is to think for yourself. On the Origin of Species by Charles Darwin. To learn of our kinship with all other life on Earth. To understand the importance of time in the grand scheme of things, and learn that it is not the strongest that survives, but the one that is most adaptable. The Age of Reason by Thomas Paine. To learn how the power of rational thought is the primary source of freedom in the world. The Age of Reason represents the results of years of study and reflection by Thomas Paine on the place of religion in society. The cool rationale of this book influenced religious thinking throughout the world, and its pervasive influence continues to the present day. Number 4. The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. To learn that capitalism is an economy of greed, a force of nature unto itself. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Conflict is an inevitable part of life, according to this ancient Chinese strategy classic. It talks about everything necessary to deal with conflict, wisely, honorably, and victoriously. Compiled more than 2,000 years ago by a mysterious warrior philosopher, The Art of War is still perhaps the most prestigious and influential strategy book in the world. It applies to competition and conflict in general, on every level, from the interpersonal to the international. Its aims are invincibility, victory without battle, and unassailable strength through understanding the physics, politics, and psychology of conflict. The Prince by Machiavelli. To learn that people not in power will do all that they can to acquire it, and people in power will do all that they can to keep it. It explores the attainment, maintenance, and utilization of political power in the Western world, and presents advice on how a prince might acquire and hold power. The prince seems to rationalize a number of actions done solely to perpetuate power. It is an examination of power, its attainment, development, and successful use. The Republic by Plato. This book is presented in the form of a dialogue between Socrates and 3 different people. This classic text is an inquiry into the notion of a perfect community and the ideal individual within it. During the conversation, other questions are raised, like what is goodness, and what is reality, and what is knowledge. The Republic also addresses the purpose of education and democracy. With remarkable lucidity and deft use of allegory, Plato arrives at a depiction of a state bound by harmony and ruled by philosopher kings. Letters to a Young Contrarian by Christopher Hitchens. In the book that he was born to write, provocateur and best-selling author Christopher Hitchens inspires future generations of radicals, mavericks, rebels, angry young men, and dissidents. Who better to speak to that person who finds him or herself in a contrarian position than Hitchens, who has made a career of disagreeing in profound and entertaining ways? This book explores the entire range of contrary positions, from noble dissidence to gratuitous pain in the butt. In an age of overly polite debate, bending over backwards to reach a happy consensus within an increasingly childish political dialogue, Hitchens pointedly pitches himself in contrast. He bemoans the loss of the skills of dialectical thinking evident in contemporary society. He understands the importance of disagreement. To personal integrity, to informed discussion, to true progress in democracy itself. epigrammatic, spunky, witty, in-your-face, timeless and timely. This book is everything you'd expect from a mentoring contrarian. The Gaji of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire. In this landmark account by the great Brazilian educator, he argues that the ignorance and apathy of the poor are the direct results of the whole situation of economic, social and political domination. By being kept in a situation in which it is impossible to achieve a critical awareness, and that the disadvantaged are kept submerged. The author then goes on to eloquently propose a kind of education that avoids authoritarian teacher-pupil models, and summoned upon his actual experience of teaching for half a century to develop a more fluid model of continual shared investigation. It empowers and challenges every human being, no matter how impoverished or illiterate, to develop a new awareness of himself, which will free them to be more than passive objects responding to uncontrollable change. As Freire puts it, each individual wins back the right to say his or her own word. Even though this list is in no particular order like I said in the beginning of the video, this next book is the one I most highly recommend to you, because in the age of fake news, this book is more relevant than ever. It will emphasize that you need to sharpen your minds to defend yourself against conmen and demagogues. The Demon-Hunted World. Science is a Candle in the Dark by Carl Sagan. How can we make intelligent decisions about our increasingly technology-driven lives if we don't understand the difference between the myths of pseudoscience and the testable hypotheses of science? Pulitzer Prize-winning author and distinguished astronomer Carl Sagan argues that scientific thinking is critical not only to the pursuit of truth, but to the very well-being of our democratic institutions. Casting a wide net through history and culture, Sagan examines and authoritatively debunks such celebrated fallacies of the past such as witchcraft, faith healing, demons and UFOs, and yet, disturbingly in today's so-called information age, pseudoscience is burgeoning with stories of alien abductions, channeling past lives and communal hallucinations, commanding growing attention and respect. As Sagan demonstrates with lucid eloquence, the siren song of unreason is not just a cultural wrong turn, but a dangerous plunge into darkness that threatens our most basic freedoms. So I hope that everybody enjoyed this little video and that you found the suggestions to be helpful. Why don't you write in the comments which of these books you have read and which you would like to read or not. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I do appreciate any criticism that you want to leave in the comment section down below. I will try and upload regularly now, at least one episode a week, with a bit of like 2 episodes a week, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.